how do we make something that's not World of Warcraft but still exciting? So, you know, Tabula Rasa had the whole, like, well, we're kind of a shooter, but we're also kind of an MMO sort of thing going, which sucked. Age of Conan had the whole, well, you know, we're a lot like World of Warcraft, but check out our totally sweet combat system. And eventually they realized that wasn't really a good selling point, so they have been improving their game since then, so I give them commendations for that. But, you know, like, Warhammer came out, and it was like, okay, well, we're like World of Warcraft. Warhammer was an interesting case, specifically because it seemed to be targeting World of Warcraft. There was a whole lot of like, yeah, Warhammer is going to kill World of Warcraft. It's going to be this awesome new game that comes out, and everybody who is serious about playing MMOs is going to just delete their characters in World of Warcraft, cancel their account, throw their boxes out the window, burn their computer, buy a new one, install Warhammer on it, and play just that. That didn't really happen. Warhammer, it had a whole lot of problems when it first released, and I guess it's gotten a lot better since then. I haven't played it since then myself, so I won't pass judgment on it either way. But it really came out with this sort of, we're going to fight World of Warcraft at being World of Warcraft, and instead they just ended up with this, basically the same thing they did in Dark Age of Camelot, where they had this really, really intense PvP situation, except they had more problems with it in Warhammer for whatever reason. But anyway, basically where I'm going with all that is developers kind of got into this mindset of, we can't beat World of Warcraft, so we'll be kind of like World of Warcraft, but with this extra gimmick that, you know, maybe we'll pry away 10% of the World of Warcraft population or something. And I mean, 10% of 5 or 6 billion players, or however many it is up to right now, is still a pretty good player base. But it just hasn't been terribly successful. Most of those games have folded or been under serious consideration of folding, or are struggling even now to continue going, and it just hasn't proven to be, you know, the whole gimmick thing hasn't really proven to be a good business model. So then the question is, how do you beat World of Warcraft? Is World of Warcraft even beatable, or is it just going to be the MMO from now until the end of infinity? And I certainly think it is something that can be beaten. I don't think World of Warcraft is so impervious to any sort of improvement that there's no chance that anyone else can top it. In order to do that, though, what you're going to have to do is go back and take a look at what World of Warcraft did, which is why we had that whole first half of the conversation. If you remember, World of Warcraft, all they really did was they took what already existed and found ways to improve it. They found just the little spots that they were like, okay, well, this is really fun. This part of the game is really fun, but I don't really like all this extra other stuff that you have to do. Like that's not cool. Like for the crafting system, for example, they looked at crafting and they said, okay, crafting is cool, making things is cool. Everybody likes to make things, but why do we need to have a chance to just completely fail and lose all of your materials when you make something? Why does that need to be there? Why did getting the materials have to be such a pain to try and get everything together? Why this? Why all this? Why is this need all this? Basically, is what they did. So I think you'll start to see. I think we're going to start to see MMOs come out that continue doing that. Basically, they look at World of Warcraft and they look at things and they say, okay, well, I really, really, really like raiding, but I don't so much like paying repair bills. You know, just a random thought off the top of my head anyway. I don't really like, my cat is freaking out. I don't really like paying repair bills. I don't really like having to get 25 people together or 10 people together. I like the epic experience that raiding gives, but it's too much work to try and get everything together. I think we'll start seeing MMOs that focus on small group content. Hello. Hi. Yes. Yes. Hello, kitty. Say hello to the internet, kitty. This is Tycoon. She's a pain in the ass. Anyway, let's try that again. So I think we're going to start seeing MMO companies doing what Blizzard did with World of Warcraft, where they basically look at what already exists. In Blizzard's case, it was EverQuest. In World of Warcraft, or in the future MMO's case, it's going to be World of Warcraft. They look at what Blizzard did and they go, okay, well, what are the core experiences here? What is enjoyable about this? And what can we do to improve this, and what can we cut out to improve this and make it more enjoyable for everybody? So, looking at the core experiences that are enjoyable about World of Warcraft. First of all, there's leveling. A lot of people enjoy leveling. A lot of people don't enjoy leveling. But that's one of the first things. It is the first thing that you experience in World of Warcraft is leveling up your character. Then there's like 5-man content, which is real simple, drop in, drop out, especially with the random dungeon finder, real simple, drop in, drop out. I log on, I play for 30 minutes if I want to, or I can play for 5 hours if I want to, and all I'm doing is just random dungeons, 5-mans with people. Cool. There's the raiding experience, both at the 10-man and the 25-man level, which is, right now, that's kind of the extension, the ultimate thing in World of Warcraft right now, excuse me, is the raiding game. And there's also PvP, which right now is arenas, and there's battlegrounds. In Cataclysm, they're making a bigger push towards having battlegrounds be a big deal. But those are basically the core experiences of World of Warcraft. Leveling, 5-mans, PvP, and raiding. So, I think what we're going to start seeing is those experiences being improved on and expounded upon, expanded upon, and just iterated on. Possibly even at the cost of just not having the other experiences in the game. Guild Wars is an example here that comes to mind. Guild Wars focused almost exclusively on PvP. There isn't really endgame raiding. I mean, it's not technically an MMO. It's similar to an MMO. It's not technically an MMO, but it plays enough like one that it works for this example. But anyway, there was a leveling experience. There was a story experience that you could go through if you wanted to. But if you didn't want to, then you could just start up the game and make a max level character for PvP purposes only, and just jump right into the PvP. Just jump right in there. And that's something that no other MMO that I can think of has really embraced, is the idea that maybe you don't need a leveling experience. So I think we'll start to see the leveling experience getting cut out of more games moving forward. At least I'd like to see the MMO experience, or the leveling experience, cut out, just because it really makes how do I put that? It really makes, it lets you do a lot more interesting. I'm kicking my desk around. It really lets you do a lot more interesting things with the other experiences if you don't have to try and jam this other one in there too. So we could see games that focus purely on raiding. Like maybe the idea is you have these dungeons and you spend all your time on crafting these epic dungeons, and everybody just comes in with their character that they just made just for that dungeon even. Maybe the PvP game, like with Guild Wars, the PvP game can keep moving in that direction. Just if you're gonna beat World of Warcraft, the way you have to do it is you have to look at what World of Warcraft did. That's basically the extent of anything I'm trying to say here. And of course, that's just one way to go with things. I don't think every new MMO that comes out is going to just take one aspect of the game and just improve the heck out of that and stick to nothing but that and cut out everything else. There's lots of room for creativity there. And I think game developers are finally starting to realize that they can't just rely on some silly little gimmick or whatever to sell their game. They need to have something that's going to keep people playing. They're also starting to realize that they can't just take and go, oh, I found the one little thing about World of Warcraft that is terrible and ruins the whole experience, and I didn't do that in my game, so my game is fantastic. That doesn't really work either. So fortunately, those are both trends that are starting to fall away, and we're starting to see some actual some really interesting sort of new ideas come up. Free-to-play MMOs are becoming more and more popular, and everybody kind of goes, oh, free-to-play, that's, whatever, that's for kids, right? But a lot of them are actually pretty good, and just it's a really, really lucrative business model also. Games that just focus on being easy to jump into and jump back out of are going to be a big deal. Just finding ways to improve experiences overall, like I said. There's so many different ways that we can continue to improve the MMO genre without just trying to be World of Warcraft but in space, or World of Warcraft but with a first-person shooter, or World of Warcraft but not World of Warcraft. There's so many different directions to take it in that are actually going to be interesting and engaging. Alright, I think that's just about all the talking I can manage for one day. So, thank you very much for watching. Thanks for 6 months of this awesomeness that I've been able to do. It's been a whole lot of fun, and I'm greatly looking forward to continue doing 6 more months, and who knows how much longer after that. So once again, check back next week for another video, and see you later.